I think this is going to be one of the most dynamic campaigns that we've seen in years. And can I make a point quickly?
Go ahead.
I love my two opponents. You know, we are so fortunate at Attleboro to have three people that most communities would love to have.
Well, I hope we have love exchanged over here. I have another candidate for Attleboro mayor in with me, Cathleen DeSimone, candidate for mayor. You're a councilwoman at large. Would you like to just respond to your opponent? He says he loves you.
John is a super nice guy. That was very kind of him.
Yeah, all right. And you believe it's sincere and genuine, not just...
He's absolutely. Yes, I have no doubt that he meant that.
But you believe you'd be a better mayor? Why,
yes.
Why is that? Why would you be? But there's a third candidate out there. We'll have them in at some point. But why do you think you'd be better?
So I am actively involved in the city. I've been on the council. This is my second term. So before that, I had been involved for many years, going back to 2010 when I served on the Census Committee. I've been involved with different administrations in various capacities. I think I'm in touch with all levels of government, but equally important, I'm in touch with various community organizations that I'm also involved with outside of my work at City Hall.
Okay, now he said he was a Republican earlier in life, switched to Democrat, he changed parties. I guess he'd like to consider himself a centrist. He said, I could work with a lot of people. I've done that. Used to be on the council. Where do you stand in the political hierarchy? Left of center, right of center? Where should I put you? I have to put you somewhere. So don't give me the standard, I don't want labels. Should I put you just to the left of center? Where should I put you?
So for years, when I was younger, I was a Democrat. I've been unenrolled for, over 20 years because I want to keep my options open. I don't want to be pigeonholed. I reserve the right to take it issue, and I know you don't want to hear it, but it's true. I try to take things issue by issue without having a predetermined destination.
Okay.
Because I think the process is part of what we're supposed to be doing. If I know where I'm going, then I'm not doing somebody or something justice. So I want to go through the steps and see where I get to.
You've been on the council for some time, and there's some problems in your town. We know that. And Mr. Davis said customer service is lousy at City Hall. Maybe Mayor Hero, who's leaving, he might disagree with that. What do you say about something like that?
I wouldn't say it was lousy. And in terms of problems, I think they're the ordinary ones. I think the city's actually a very good place, and I give credit to outgoing Mayor Hero and the prior mayor, Mayor Dumas. The interesting thing is both of them led us through unprecedented events. Mayor Dumas was the financial crisis. Mayor Hero was obviously the pandemic. They got us through as champions. I think we're in a much better place today than we were years ago. However, in a post-pandemic world, things are different now. It's not only city business and the delivery of services that you have to think of. I think we also have to think of our roles of leaders in the community and bringing everybody back on board. There's been a lot of partisanship through the pandemic, a whole lot of unrest, everything else. I think it's important to bring people back together, and I'm particularly mindful, as a parent of two teenagers, of their experience through the pandemic and restoring hope and motivation, and inspiring them to believe in government and to believe in their future. Because I think there are days when young people look at us and think, what the heck have you done?
If they watch the news, I guess they feel they have a right to feel like that.
Yes.
Let's do a laundry list, and it's like a lot of other cities and towns. Let's begin. Education. You got a new high school there, correct?
Oh my God, that high school is amazing, fantastic. Not only a new high school, but a new principal, Kate Campbell, who is a dynamite. Her energy and potential matches the beauty of the building. She's the right person for right now.
All right, the building is beautiful. What are you hearing about ways to improve it? Now, I know you've got a school committee there, but you would be the mayor. It's a different set of circumstances, but you're nonetheless concerned. What would you say?
Well, I wouldn't say improving it as much as I want to open it up. Every taxpayer is contributing to that high school, whether you have kids in it or not, whether you had kids before. It is a community asset. It's a community hub. It's a community jewel. Years ago, the high school used to host kind of lifelong learning or continuing
adult night school. Yes, they had that when I was a kid. The lights are on in the high school at night.
Exactly. So that's coming back. I'm hoping for next year, talking to our Principal Campbell. I think it's important that those programs come back to invite other community members in who may not be parents of kids. I also think it's important ongoing lifelong learning, people looking for job changes or just to learn new things. I think it's going to be an important aspect of what the new high school can bring back to the community.
Night school, they used to call it. I remember seeing my high school with the lights on at night. It looks so odd to a kid who only sees it during the day.
But Gene, they had welding, carpentry, things you can learn for fun, but also other things, skills that may become useful to people transitioning. So I'm super excited about what the high school will be. Once they kind of settle. They're still working out some kinks in the new building and stuff, but it's going to be awesome.
Let's go to police and fire. Generally?
Good. We're really lucky. We have strong police and fire departments. The issues there, I think, are common. across the country, particularly again as we emerge from the pandemic, is trying to hire and recruit new people to both departments and retain, because people are leaving for better opportunities. And for several reasons, that's going to be a challenge, but I think it's important, obviously extremely important work. So I think we need to really rethink our recruitment process, our training process, and perhaps evaluate our pay rate as well.
How would you be with negotiations? The unions are very, very good at that. How would you be?
Yeah, so I am at the moment a union member myself. I am a child. I was raised by a single parent who was a union member, and I got to tell you, my mother's little job, she was a crossing guard. The benefits of that job were, frankly, some days what got us through. So I very much value and appreciate the purpose of unions.
Okay.
Ultimately, Gene, at the end of the day, how will I negotiate? I will negotiate fairly. I will bring clean hands to the table, which fundamentally is where you have to begin in any negotiation, to come and do your best. And I think that's the way, perhaps I'm being foolishly optimistic, but I'm going to start with fairness.
Well, let's talk about the taxpayers then. You have to advocate on their behalf as well.
Oh, of course.
Everybody
of course.
wants more money, but I guess the mayor at some point has to say, I'm not the candy man.
Yeah. No, look, there's two ends of the spectrum, right? I mean, this is simple budgeting 101, right? You can't spend more than you take in, but you can't take in what you want to spend either. You have to cover both bases. So I'm very mindful. I pay taxes as well. They just went up, again, with the craziness of home prices during the pandemic. I'm very mindful of the taxpayer, particularly because Attleboro has a growing senior population. So these are people on fixed incomes for whom a small change in taxes, $200, $300, could mean not paying some other bill.
Are you talking about reevaluation? Because the property values went up,
yes.
You reevaluated, your taxes go up too,
Yes.
because your value
They
went
generally
up.
only head in one direction, that's for sure, right?
Are you pleased with the way it ended up? Do you think it was
rate?
fair process, the revaluation? People complain about that.
I generally do. You know, property tax, as they say, it's the favorite tax of government, if you will. The problem to me is property tax is in some ways more of a blunt instrument. When you could use a scalpel, it's a hammer. Because you're assessing people of all income levels on their property, so it's not a matter of ability to pay. You're talking about businesses that run the spectrum from small mom and pop shops to national grid. And everybody's in the same kind of pot. So it's very difficult sometimes to do what you want to do because you can't carve out certain things. But you do the best that you can. And at the end of the day, I think it's important to strive for fairness.
We just have about a minute
Yeah,
left. Your small
that was
business
fast.
community.
Yes.
And you'd like it to be thriving.
Oh, of
and
course,
you'd like
of
to
course.
expand it, all the same things everybody wants.
Of course. You know what? In the Amazon age, I still think there's an opportunity there for small shops, particularly service shops, coffee shops, bookshops. Again, I want to mention, coming out of the pandemic, this sense of community. People want to gather in big places and small, and I think there's opportunity. So I'm certainly supportive of businesses for many reasons, of course.
All right, but I just want to distinguish you from Mr. Davis and your opponent
Yes.
who's coming in. You will do a better job. Same question we started with. Let's end with it.
Yes.
Because you are uniquely qualified. Because why?
I have the education and experience for the job right now. This is a job interview. It's important that you're the right person for the right moment for the right job. I am that. I think it's important to have a parent in office. The last two mayors have not had kids.
Okay.
Having that perspective, particularly again in the world we're in, I think will be particularly helpful. I'm an organizer, a leader, and I don't just run horizontal in my experience, Gene. I run up and down, top to bottom, soup to nuts.
Well, very good. We had a good interview. Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
Gene.
to you.
Thank you,
Meantime,
sir.
That's 10 News Conference. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week.